Candace started losing her hearing.
She began to lose all of her feelings.
And she says, I can't feel my face. Help me find my face.
Her condition just started to deteriorate. Overnight, we lost the ability to communicate with her.
They tested her for everything.
They couldn't figure out what caused it. It was a mystery.
People communicate in deeper and more profound ways than we really entertain. There may be some sort of toxicity that's happening.
I am not a betting woman. I'd put money on this one.
I think the hardest part is knowing that she's normal inside, but she can't do anything.
Candace has always had a very strong personality. Even now, you can see how strong she is. You know, and I think if she didn't have the strong will, maybe she wouldn't be here because she would have given up. When she was little, she just loved to talk. And she had a great sense of humor.
Candace, as a child, was very determined.
She tested and went into the magnet program for gifted children. And she did well until she started losing her hearing. It started initially when she was 14. By the time she was 17, she was profoundly deaf.
Then she started to have some kind of pain in her feet. They diagnosed the pain in her feet as neuropathy.
She could not feel her feet.
By the time she was in the 12th grade, then she started to have a little bit of vision loss.
You know, she graduated on time, and when she got ready to get her diploma, she had her sister hold her up and walk her across the stage to get her diploma. She was on a full scholarship in Mercer. She was going to be a doctor. She really, really loved school. She did not want to not be in college.
Her condition just started to deteriorate to the point where she couldn't go back to school. I took her to the emergency room.
They tested her for everything. The doctor was there. The doctor was watching all of this go on. And I said, what's wrong with her? She says, I don't know.
She was losing the feeling in her entire body.
She told me, she says, Mom, I can't feel my hands. And she said, I can't feel my feet. She said, I can't feel my legs. And then she says, I can't feel my face. Help me find my face. And when she said that, I just broke down.
By the next morning, she wasn't able to talk. She wasn't able to do anything. Overnight, we lost the ability to communicate with her.
They did the MRI. It's something mysterious because she has normal brain activity.
They couldn't figure out what led up to it, what caused it. It was a mystery.
She would cry out sometimes, and I didn't know what was wrong with her. I just prayed and asked God to show me how to deal with the situation, how to take care of Candace.
Throughout the day, my mom is constantly playing inspirational music, and my mom reads the scriptures to Candace, and she prays with her.
Always remember Jesus, Jesus.
Candace was a very smart young lady. Before she got sick, that was a word from God, that she would do great things. So we just have faith that God is working all of this out in his own time.
We were taught that God was the source of our strength.
Our faith is in God and the fact that he can do anything. So we're strong Christians, and we have a really strong relationship and ties to God. Candace's current state, she is either in her bed or she's in her wheelchair. She's not shown any signs of controlled or coordinated movement, so it's still a mystery. They have no idea what caused it or what's keeping her in this state. It has affected my parents the most because they are here every single day dealing with her.
We are not really, we don't do anything the way we had planned to. As a matter of fact, we don't do anything at all.
The reality of, she may be like this for a while. I guess I've never really figured that she would be like this forever. I think the hardest part is knowing that she's normal inside, but she can't do anything.
The Cordum technique began, I would say, when I was a young boy, when I would look at people. I mean, I see the same physical features that you do when you look at someone, but I also notice that people have what I would call textures or properties. What I notice when I see people, these textural properties relate to human biology. I categorize my indicators much the way a physician would categorize a burn. So I have first, second, and third degree indicators, just like there are first, second, and third degree burns. I work with healthcare providers and assisting them working with their patients in terms of arriving at some effective methods of treatment using only this observation-based technique.
In conventional medicine, we do make visual assessments. The Cordum technique takes other visual signs, and you use that part of your intuitive sense to make deeper connections.
This is really new to me here. He has a gift. John has a gift. I expect Candace to get up. I mean, I've always expected that. Now, whether it will be tomorrow or whether it will be next year, you know, I am just trusting God every step of the way.
There are ways that we perceive that are much beyond our conventional five senses. And basically what we're doing, you know, we're sort of just observing. So we look for cues that we notice, and that gives us ideas about where their health problems are coming from.
So a first degree indicator, you know, often tells me that the health imbalance is mild. A second degree indicator tells me that the health imbalance is something to be more concerned about. And a third degree indicator relates to where this could really be causing a tremendous amount of disharmony to the body system and actually perhaps seeking territory over the body's domain by the time you're in third degree. Okay. Your respiratory system seems okay to me. Your musculoskeletal system seems okay to me. Throat and esophagus, okay. There might be a little bit of liver activity, what I would say in the first degree. I see a blood indicator with you, Candace. I want to say that it relates to blood sugars, but I've never seen one exactly like this before. So there is something unique in that aspect.
We're saying that there's some aspect of the blood that may be causing this problem. There may be some sort of toxicity that's happening.
And I would say in terms of what her body's telling me, in the front area of her brain, I'm not necessarily getting a tumor or a disease, but it tells me that something has folded over. In Candace's case, when I was perceiving her neurological indicator, the way I would describe the textural is that there's a pressure pushing out behind the forehead, much like you might perceive water being held back by a dam. A lot of disconnect in the upper area in the neurological. But I have an unusual question to ask Candace. Your body's asking me to tell you if something happened on the bus. And I don't know why, but it's just saying that something happened on the bus a long time ago.
You know, the significance of the bus was the first year in college, she wanted to go to New York Christmas, and she wanted to take the bus so that she could see the sights.
She said, I want to see everything that I can see from Atlanta to New York.
Her boyfriend was going to go with her, so they made it to New York. And when they came back, they took the bus back. And on the way home, she had gone to the bathroom, and she got a little weak and fell in the bathroom, and she just felt dirty until she got home.
On the way back, her condition just started to deteriorate.
What is happening for you is not common or would not necessarily be addressed with a straightforward, conventional medical approach.
When John came, he looked at Candace because he has a gift that, you know, he can talk to the body. He knew that there was nothing wrong with Candace in some areas, but he could tell. He could look in her eyes and see that it was something with the liver.
Candace, you're making a lot of new friends today, and Kim has just arrived, and she's going to share some more information to support you.
My name is Kim Pentecost. I am an intuitive healer. In the work that I do, I can look at people's energy fields. I can look into their bodies.
So based on the idea of the toxicity issue, my suggestion was a naturopath, because a naturopath might be able to connect her to the machine that can identify toxicities pretty easily and non-invasively.
Yes.
People can and do communicate in deeper and more profound way than we really entertain in our walking, talking, five-sensory world.
There's some really nice energy work that we can do to help clear some of the fear, so that she can begin to open up.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some things that you would like to know.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure there's things she would like to say. So.
Okay, yes.
There's potential for a lot more repair and healing than I thought was possible. So that's exciting to me for her. And my understanding is that in your church you do laying on of hands. Is that correct?
Yes,
okay.
We do.
So this is not a new concept to you then?
No.
There's a couple of things that she wants to share. She wishes that she could share with you what she's experiencing and what she's learned, and she will. You know, when she can talk again, she will.
You know, hope she knows how much we all love her. And I told her I wouldn't leave her. And I just hope she remembers that.
She is so grateful for the love.
Now, I lay hands on Candace every night, but not quite like, you know, Kim did. And I could, you know, just see Candace moving and her legs were shaking.
Everything in me says that it is really important to get a baseline. I have this just clear feeling that there's either metal or parasites.
Well, I have to tell you, Candace felt like it was something to do with metal. What happened, she'd had some dental work, and they put mercury fillings, that's what it was. And she says, Mom, I did not start to get sick until I got those fillings.
That's because that mercury poisoning can travel, of course, through the blood. And guess where it goes? Into the liver.
What if there's nothing there?
I am not a betting woman, ever. I'd put money on this one. With yesterday, we moved a lot of energy for her, and especially around her heart. So that was a nice shift that we saw yesterday. The hiccups, it's the diaphragm issues. Does she do this very often?
No, I was going to tell you this is the first time she's ever done this. Absolutely.
Okay. So all I'm doing is really using my energy to guide her energy. So there she goes. It's starting to settle.
Candace had a dream before all of this happened, and she dreamt that she had gone away for a long time, and when she came back healed.
So there's a wonderful naturopath in Atlanta that will be the next step for this family and for Candace.
I had breast cancer when I was 33 and went through 2 years of chemotherapy and like 46 radiation treatments. And when I came out on the other side of that, I knew that God's calling on my life was to really help people from a preventative standpoint. I do something called reflexology, which I work on the feet. I believe that, that is such a wonderful way of just using acupressure points to kind of get the body re-stimulated. It's the activity, the constant state of touch that can really help, get the neural pathways kind of reestablished. And I'm going to be coming out here once a week to try to help you. And I'm going to be doing some things with your feet and working on your feet to try to help get your circulation going there, and also just make sure that it'll actually feel good for you.
Does that feel good, Candace?
Oh, look at the smile. That's great.
Okay, I think there we go.
All right, Candace. Working on your, this is the area right here. And that probably tickles. Yeah. As far as Candace, she's obviously a unique case. I believe that there may be a genetic predisposition to any disease, but there's a catalyst that turns on that gene. I do believe that, I believe in miracles. And for me, I'm going to use all the resources that I can, people that I have at my disposal, other practitioners, to just try to do the best that we can, to do anything we can to help her.
Well, you can tell now how calm she is.
Yes.
There is some progress that has taken place. When we are changing her, she can raise herself up now, and she couldn't do that before. The fact that she can move now, she can feel.
She is so strong. She laughs. Sometimes when we're trying to do stuff with her, she laughs. I don't know what day she's getting up or time, but I know that she is. I've had the faith, I've kept the faith, and it's been about 9 years now, but I know it's going to happen.
When Candace come to church now, it seems like she hears us. Before, she could not hear us. She could not respond. She could not see us, any of that. Even if you would touch her, she couldn't respond to that. But to see Candace now and where she has come from, I believe that something is happening in her that's quite remarkable.
I don't want to live and, amen, proclaim the truth of God. Remember, trusting the Word of God is our way out. Trusting the Word of God is the thing, amen, that will bring us over anything. You don't praise God when the battle is over. You praise Him with the faith that He said it. And if He said it, He's able. We thank God for the Addison family. We thank God for Candace. Candace is somebody very special.
See, love does something that nothing else can do. Do I believe that Candace can be healed and walk again and do all those things? Yes, I believe that.
Candace is on her way back, and I know that. I mean, you had to have seen her in the beginning, to know where she is now, or to see how far she's come now.